A young coach, for sure. They're adamant they need a young coach for this young team. Whereas you would think that after what happened really in the last 4 years or so, that maybe a bit of experience on that bench would be interesting. And in that list, some have a bit more experience than others, but really they're all quite young compared to, I don't know, let's say like a Jurgen Klopp, for example, or those kind of managers. Some of them are also maybe not free right now, but like Iraola or Marco Silva, they will be free agent in the summer because they're not going to renew their contract with their current clubs. Others like Cesc Fabregas, good luck if you want to attract Cesc Fabregas to your club. But the most important thing here really is why would they come to Chelsea? Amongst that list, if we can show the list again even, Cesc Fabregas right now at Como is on to something far more interesting probably than not playing in the Champions League next season with Chelsea if they don't qualify for it. If you're Iraola, you may think that you will have clubs with a more interesting project than this fading project that Chelsea right now have put together. We have the list here again. If you're Marco Silva, it's a little bit different. Felipe Luis played for Chelsea, obviously, as a player, was really good there, was very good with Flamengo in Brazil. But would he fancy that as a first job in Europe? I'm not so sure. Diego Simeone, let's not go there. Frank Lampard, I think, has been there before and got burned. And right now at Coventry, things are going great for him. And Oliver Glasner, again, at his age, I'm not sure he's ready for this kind of job, because let's not forget, this is a very difficult job because the squad is young, but also the people above you are clearly very much interfering with what you do as a manager.
Of the names there, is there anyone you like, Shaka?
I'll be honest. It's never going to happen for any number of reasons. But the name that jumps out at me is Diego Simeone. and in truth, it is laughable. But let me say, given the issues at the top of this club, and given the issues on the park, the only person I think that has the personality that somehow bridges those two and makes any sense of it is Diego Simeone. But that's never going to happen. And this is the issue that Chelsea have now found themselves in. You're without a manager, looking for a new manager, and okay, that list is there. And to Jules's point, there's more names that are added or could be added to that list. But that list, there's nobody that bridges that gap. There's nobody but Diego Simeone that bridges that gap for me. But even I wouldn't put $1 of your money on Diego Simeone becoming the next Chelsea manager.
I appreciate that.
Well,
it wasn't there to play with, but
why are you taking our money to begin with?
I'm just saying. I'm not putting my money.
Top of the list is Andoni Iraola. They like his vertical play, apparently, according to reports. He's going to be available. He knows the Premier League.
Okay, the vertical play. All right. Look, I think. In terms of the profile of managers that we have seen from Chelsea as of late, Iraola would seem to fit that profile. The question is, and it's something that Jules brought up, is that there may be other opportunities that are far more suitable for Iraola. See, we're looking at it from the perspective of Chelsea, but what about Iraola saying, wait, this is not the project that I'm looking for. It's not what's best for me. And I think a lot of managers are going to be in that same thought process. This is not what's best for me, because I have to learn from the experiences of other managers that have gone through here and have said, we can't work under this sort of circumstances and this sort of conditions. And in the case of Leon Rosinho, I could not agree more with Didi in that this guy was saying things. Well, Didi has been around the game for a while, a lot longer than me. Xhaka, longer than me. I've been around this game for at least 40 years in one way or another. And there are things that were being said by Leon Rosinho that I was like, what? What is that? And how anybody sitting in that locker room would have listened to that. So now you put yourself, if you're Chelsea, in a corner where your job is not nearly as interesting as you think it is. It's not nearly as good as you think it is. In fact, you've created this sort of aura about your job and around your job. It's like this protection field that nobody wants to get close to that because it has become radioactive.
As Didi was saying, this is a simple game, especially from a player perspective. Now, we're at a point where we're talking about XG and all kinds of money ball and all kinds.
According to Craig.
And when you listen to the more experienced and successful managers, those aren't things they talk about. Now, you want somebody who can look at the data, analyze it, break it up, and then just put it in you need to run over there to the players, who can take that from the data scientists and then go onto the training ground and say, you need to be there, you need to go there, and keep that as simple. But too often, I get the feeling that younger, more modern day managers bring all this data and drop it in the laps of the players as though they want it. And they don't know what to do with it. They don't want to do anything with it. And that's where the disconnect continues to happen.
Yeah, let me lean on Didi's wealth of experience,
yes, a lot of
and long
experience.
time in the game so far. Is there anyone on that list, Didi, that stands out to you? Or do you think it will be a case of who actually wants to take this job right now?
Yeah, well, I think that's one thing. Does the new manager, whoever's approached, do they think they can turn things around? Because there's a lot of things happening in the boardroom where you wonder whether the people in charge have a clue knowing how to run a football club. And, you know, these guys are obviously very much in demand. If you look at Lampard, even though, you know, he just got promoted with Coventry, Simeone done wonderful things at Atletico. But I think he probably wants a break after 13 or 14 years at the club in the summer. Another manager is probably Fabian Hutzler from Brighton, who's not on the list. You know, there's talk about him going back to Germany. Maybe Chelsea might be interested as well. But it'll all depend whether these guys think they've got the responsibility and they can do what they want to do. Because it's not all about just what's going on the pitch. It's also a lot of politics in a football club, maybe even more so at Chelsea. So does anyone jump out? No, not really. I won't be at all surprised if somebody gets a job who's not on the list.